Hey, we didn't get the countdown.
No, I didn't do the countdown, bro, because the countdown it came in, it went out, it came in again. Last time I
Dude,
was
the
like,
first
yeah,
time we did that was funny. On the
yeah,
replay, you hear me saying, "Dude, yo, that's dope."
yeah. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. I'm working on it.
All right, going live on Instagram right now.
All right, all right.
All right, so we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Technically Speaking, when we are giving you news
That
You can
you
use.
can use.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So as y'all see, we got some new faces up here, but let's just go around and let's reintroduce the usual suspects. I am Geronimo, aka Tech Von Go, and then we have Corey Giovanni. What's up, sir?
What's going on? It's your main man with the game plan, Corey Giovanni, tapping in with some news that you can use, and I'm giving it over to my sister to the right of me on my screen.
That's me. It's your girl, Bobby, with an I, not a Y, because a Y's for a guy.
Hey, and then we got repeat offender Dr. Poole came back to bless us yet again.
What's up, guys? Great to
And
be
then-
back.
Hey man, thanks for
Glad
coming
you're here,
back.
brother.
Thanks for coming back. And then we have a new special guest, my friend Christina the Awesome, and she is a veteran, sister, mom, just an all-around awesome person. I mean, it's in the name, Christina the Awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. It's actually really cool to be here. I don't get out too much right now. I've got a lot going on, but my brain needs to be exercised every now and again. So I'm excited.
There you
to be
go.
on here.
Thanks for joining us. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. I always keep it real 100. She hit me up on Instagram, was like, how come I haven't been on the show? I'm like, come on. I just you're not
No,
going anymore. Matter of
no,
fact, that's the same thing
here's
that
the
happened
reason
with
for
Dr.
that.
Poole. Say what?
You were on my podcast that I had twice.
True,
I
true.
interviewed you and you got to interview me. So I was like, "Where's my invite?"
Hey,
I was a little.
there
I
you
was a little
go.
hurt.
My
But yeah,
fault.
it's
Yeah, I
nice
had to
to
redeem
exercise my
myself.
brain. And honestly, I'm kind of excited about this when I looked at the agenda because all of these topics I have no idea about. So I'll probably be the one asking really good questions.
I love it.
Hey, go ahead.
One thing, Christina, can you do me a favor, real quick? Can you come closer to the mic? Because I hear your beautiful voice, but I'm
Oh,
straining.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm a little bit
I was gonna
faint.
message you too and tell you, girl, raise your volume just a little.
I was born in the
So I'm
1900s, so
literally
you know.
sitting. I don't even have a desk anymore. I'm literally sitting in like a lounge chair in the corner of my bedroom. So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to. I'll try to sit
I'm
forward.
better right now.
Is that better?
for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
better. That's
You know what I'm
better.
saying? If you gotta cup your mouth like this so you can hear, you can.
Yeah, I don't
If
have
you
any
want, you know what I'm saying?
special tools or anything. I used to have like mics and everything. I don't have any of that stuff anymore.
Oh man.
Oh man.
You got a Bluetooth
Yeah.
earpiece?
That's what I have in is my.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, then turn that bad boy up all the way. Let us
Turn
I
hear
it
don't
you.
know
up.
why it's not out.
Turn that thing
Sorry, I'll
on.
just sit closer. Is that okay? Is that better?
There you
I mean,
go.
I can talk really loud. I was just trying not to scream at people.
Oh no.
Look,
We
you
did-
got a beautiful voice. Come on, go on, talk to us, Christina.
yeah, on this show we get loud. That's the
I'll
whole
just try
point.
to talk louder and sit closer.
Hey, oh. Real quick, we lost Dr. Poole. He'll come back. Hey, a fun fact about Christina, she's actually from Long Beach.
I am.
LBC. Hey.
Hey,
On the West Coast, the
I don't
best
ever
coast.
West
wanna
Coast,
go back
West
to
Coast,
the
cuz.
It's not the same anymore, but you can't take California out of me.
Hey.
Right on. So you're not in LA no more. You're in Texas,
Oh,
She's here in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
yeah, I'm here in San Antonio. I don't like it here either, but I'll never. California's not the same. I'm from.
I was gonna
I'm
ask.
from '90s California.
Oh yeah,
It was different. It was different.
it was different.
So
But
going
I'm
from the
telling you-
West Coast to the East Coast, coming out of Buffalo, New York, served 11 years in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service. And you know what? I didn't get a chance to say that Christina served also in the Air Force. It was what, like 7 years? How many?
11 and a half.
11 and a half. Okay, look at
11 and
that.
a half.
Times two. There you go. My fault.
Put some
thank you
respect
for
on
your
her
service,
name.
too. Thank you for your service. Because I did say veteran, but I didn't say that you served in the Air Force. That's on me.
Respect
then-
on her name.
And Daniel served 11 years in the Army, served as material manager
Yeah.
and a system administrator. Now he is also here in San Antonio, and he is one of my fellow cybersecurity gurus out here. He works in the DevSecOps environment, doing big things, protecting this great nation. So everyone, welcome Daniel to the show as well.
Thank you, baby.
Good intro. Good intro. I like that. Thank
Hey,
you
there it
for
is.
having me.
All
Can you
right.
hear me? Can you hear
Now
me?
we can hear you. Now
Yeah,
let's
we
go
Oh,
can
ahead and
man.
get
Yeah, here we go. All
Dr.
right.
He didn't get a chance to intro Dr. Poole again. We
All
all
right.
just said repeat offender. You know what I'm saying? And look, it's wintertime. He about to be on break because ain't nobody going swimming.
Nope,
Come
not
on,
true.
talk
Not true. It's not true at all.
about
Nah, it gets a little bit easier. I save a little bit of money on chemicals for sure, but the work almost picks up twice as much because like the Santa Ana winds kicked in over here over these last couple of weeks. So these pools, they're actually getting worse during the winter times for these houses. So if you got an above ground swimming pool, that's great. You could take it down, but here all these people, they have beautiful foliage around their swimming pools, and their trees just dump leaves year round. So I got to get out there and
you
That's
ABW,
for them.
brother.
Good for you.
ABW.
yeah,
Always be working.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the good thing
We're
about
always
Cali.
talking.
If I were like on the East Coast or something in New York, I'd have to shut down for 6 months a year.
And that's why they say the West is the best. I mean, just so
Hey, shout out to Buffalo giving the Chiefs they first loss too.
Oh, what?
Hey, let's get it. I am a Buffalo Bills fan, by the way, too, by default.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but my team play tonight. Hopefully we get something going, but I doubt it because my quarterback is out for the rest of the season.
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
so let's get to know our new guests a little bit.
Yeah.
What brought you here to San
tell us your
Antonio?
social security number.
And
Brought me here to
what's
San
the
Antonio?
mother's maiden name? What was your first pet's name for growing up? All that. What brought
Who
you
was your
to
baby
Wait, are
daddy?
you trying to get my password?
Don't give it to him. Don't do it.
A little bit of social engineering.
Look, data drives decisions.
So I moved to San Antonio because my brother was like, hey, we hardly ever see each other. You should move here. And I wasn't going anywhere in the career I was in. Nobody would ever promote me. They would just promote other people and then ask me to train them. And, after a while,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I moved here to be closer to my brother, thinking I would see him more. Not really. And it's also good for my youngest because her dad only lives 3 hours from here. So
Oh yeah,
that's
that
what
works
brought
out.
me yeah.
That works
Perfect.
out.
Always making them sacrifices for my kids. So that's what brought me here to San Antonio. San Antonio, living here has really changed my life a lot. Not all for the good, but not all bad either. It's just kind of how life is. So
This
I was
is
really
true.
stagnant where I was at.
What about you, Daniel? What brought you here to San Antonio?
The weather is one of the things that got me down here. I was in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Drum, New York. I'm from Buffalo, New York. All they do is have blizzards up there. You know what I mean?
Hell no.
So
Wow.
that ain't the life. People literally lose their lives in those blizzards and stuff. So it's serious up there.
Bad.
But while I was stationed at Fort Drum, New York, it was so cold. I was dying to get somewhere warm, and at the same time, I was transitioning out of the military. So it was perfect timing. And I interviewed with Amazon. I got an ops manager role down here in Texas. They kind of work like the military. So whatever your preference is, where you want to go, they'll put you there and they'll hold the job for you. So they put me in Shirts, Texas, and I settled in San Antonio. That was 2021. So I've been here ever since.
Nice. That's
Nice.
what's up. And you know
Yeah, it
what?
worked out.
One thing, before we switch topics, right? So it is the month of the veteran, right? So if you notice, we have 2 additional vets here on the show. It's because we're honoring our vets this month of Veterans Day, the month of the veterans. Hey, thank both of y'all for y'all service. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
You guys too.
Thank you.
Our co-host for serving.
And
Yeah,
our
thank
co-host. And our co-host. Hey, we got a lot of vets, man. So hey, man, let's get this thing. Let's get it going. Hey, Friday night. What happened Friday night?
Friday night.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
The best script in the world. The best script in the world, Craig. Well, okay, one. I do not support elder abuse. I do not support elder abuse.
Damn.
He didn't get abused.
Disclaimer.
He didn't get abused.
Number 2, the best fight was the women's fight.
It
Hands
was.
down.
It was.
We've all
agree.
said that. We've all said that. Like, man, bring the women back.
Yes. Toronto
That was sick.
robbed. We just saw
She was robbed.
Netflix Netflix will be subpoenaed in court
I'll testify.
because they witnessed a robbery and did not
Yeah,
inform the police.
Dude, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm glad her fight managers called them out though.
Yeah,
They
really.
were up there. I'm so
Oh,
glad.
girl
that
was
they
doing
called
like
them out.
this.
Just,
I think the refs failed. The refs should have stopped that fight to save that
They
girl's
should've.
poor sight, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's not going to be able to see out of that eye in 10 years, probably. You know,
it busted her good too. I hate
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
that.
that
and-
thing
it's
was
sick.
but she
It
took
was
it like
hanging so low. The
hanging like,
skin.
ugh.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
split. Right? It was split. Like, ooh.
man,
My husband couldn't look at the TV. He's like, no.
my
What
son,
Yeah.
my
Oh,
son,
man.
my son was
Good guy.
watching it with me, right? And once that split, kind of like we saw the blood, he was like, "Oh, she bleeding."
Yeah.
And then we saw another headbutt, and then you just start seeing like, like
It's splitting open.
it was like
She
an
was
arrow.
ripping.
It was like
It was
an
like she
arrow.
was ripping her head down, you know,
Yeah.
with that
yeah,
braid.
yeah.
She had that braid in her hair.
I bet her
She-
whole like
ripping.
eye right here is swollen. I bet
Yeah.
the whole side of her face is swollen right now.
But I'm
Yeah,
glad.
that's crazy.
I'm glad that they did speak up. But let me tell you what was the main attraction: the circle of death. Everybody and their mama was having the circle of death. during
Oh,
the
yeah.
Netflix outlet.
Oh, bro.
I
Yo, I had told the team, I was like, yo, I didn't know I was logging into Disney Plus to watch Frozen.
was frozen.
That thing was just straight Frozen.
Donald was like, hey, I saw it clear. I was like,
Oh,
Dang,
hold
okay.
on, man. Netflix acting
I didn't
like
know what
I
you
ain't
were
paid a bill. And I know
Hey,
I
hold
got
on,
my
I gotta admit-
subscription with T-Mobile. So I know
I gotta
damn
admit-
well
We
my
kicked
bill.
I gotta admit,
every device.
I dropped it a couple times,
Kept
and I had to switch
restarting
over to
it.
my cell phone.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I had friends come over for that fight too.
Ooh.
And Netflix
That's
always
embarrassing.
worked. This one time, they was like, "Hey, yo,
Yeah.
you came all the way over here for the fight. He watching on the phone, and they working on my TV. I'm looking goofy. I'm like, dang, man, I don't even know."
So real quick, like I said, I've been to one fight in person in my life, and like I know people that watch them, but don't they usually go like on cable and you pay for it? Like when they have
Well,
the
see,
matches,
normally they do.
Netflix didn't have the bandwidth or something on its service to do this. I don't know.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
servers.
Right.
You need to up that server.
Well, see,
Yeah.
They should have expected this, in my opinion, with all the people that are into
100%.
Yes.
the
100%.
fights, and that's
Because
just,
we have
I
some
don't know.
tech people on our panel, and I know they know
They
how
need to give
this.
everybody like a $5 credit or something. I don't know.
Hey, I'm with that.
Hey, I'm with that.
Man,
I'll take
Netflix,
that.
man, Netflix gonna look and see how many people using that account. They just gonna up the price.
Yeah.
Fact.
I don't
This is the-
have Netflix anymore, so
I'm just
I only have.
this.
I'm on everybody else's streaming platforms. We all like share pricing and stuff like that in my family, and Netflix is like the only one you can't do that with anymore.
Oh, yeah, they changed that recently.
No, Disney
Yeah.
Disney Plus is cracking down on
Coming
it
down
too.
on it too.
Well, then I won't have Disney either when that happens because my ex-husband pays for that.
The whole. Let me just tell y'all this. I was like, I started just putting memes on Instagram. I grew my following for like 300 followers that night. I was like, oh, okay, I had the Nintendo cartridge with the Netflix on it, like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, look, I'm gonna take advantage of it, especially when Tyson turned around and had his butt out. I was like, oh, Tyson tried to pop out.
Oh man.
Tyson, he gonna kiss his son and then turn around and have his ass out, like
Nothing but
ass,
cheek.
ass. I was like, whoa, bro, what is going on with you?
Maybe he was just getting ready
Classic.
for his next big industry or something. I
He
don't
was
know.
trying to stick and move. I feel you.
Live TV, buddy. That's live TV
You
for
forgot it
you.
wasn't pay per view.
Tyson did a really good job hanging in there for all 8 rounds.
He did.
He really did. However, we all know if you watch fights, boxing is a young man's game,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
and
That's why I say elder abuse.
he just looked, at the end of the day, everybody got paid. It don't matter whether he
20
won or
mil.
lose,
20 million.
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
mil.
they got
Yeah.
paid.
You know what I saw out of that? I saw a guy whose heart and brain was there, but his legs just
Legs.
couldn't get him where he needed to go anymore. You
In
know?
the
And like,
second round that happened,
yeah.
like
I
And
mean,
it's-
he was starting to give in. It was
it's
rough.
like, have you ever tried to do something in your mind and you know that you you feel like you can do it, and it just your body didn't go with it.
Yeah, his brain said one thing and his body
It's
said
like
another.
y'all
You know?
not talking to each other. But
Here,
I
I'm
did
gonna
find out
man.
the reason why they didn't fight in July.
Is this
was
maybe a
because of the
recommendation
fact
to
that
have age breakdowns too, like weight class and
yeah, but he also was he also had a couple blood clots in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he
Oh,
had
wow.
some
Yeah. Somebody said he almost died.
He almost died,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, look that. But then I would have probably like put the fight off after that. I would have canceled it if I was him then. But then 20 million. That's some life.
I mean, that's
Well,
money.
he
20
probably
mil,
wanted
you
a
know.
little attention too. I mean, he's probably missing the good old days when he was.
Nah.
He ain't been nowhere, man. He's still popping with his podcast and
His
Right,
podcast
but he
is
probably
his podcast is lit.
You got to remember how long he. I don't like I said I don't follow it, but I do know who he is. He fought all that
Yeah.
time, and that was something he was
I can
passionate
see what
about.
you're saying. Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe he was, well, I'm gonna get in there, and it's been a while, but
Let me
I'm
show
the
you
man.
something. You see how big I am? That's like me trying to go play basketball, running the 505 full court. It ain't happening, baby.
No, Mike, he's smoking, do shrooms and all the other kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
And
I
that
was thinking
with
that.
his age. And then
Yeah.
when you look at the
Well,
post
maybe
interview,
he got really high and made some bet with one
nah,
of
that
his
ain't
friends.
that ain't
Back out of it. I mean, if he didn't do it, maybe there were some other repercussions. Like he had to
But-
do something
But
silly.
there was
I don't
something
know.
else too, though, because Mike post interview, he was basically like, remember when he said, "I ain't gonna make no excuses." There was something else going on that he just didn't want to put forward
Yeah.
and say too. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was something with his health, honestly.
yeah, some of his
His
help
health, and
probably because he was done by round three. Round three, he was tired. He was like,
Yeah.
"Man,
But
I'm
if
just
You know,
gonna hang
think
there."
about it. Imagine if he were if Mike Tyson were like a juicing old man though, who was like taking some steroids and had some more like testosterone pumping
Yeah.
through them veins. You know what I'm saying? I think it would have been a different story, But
That would have
Yeah,
been
man.
more
I don't know. I
dangerous,
remember
though,
watching
because
Hulk
as
Hogan
he
fight The
aged-
Rock in WWE,
Yeah.
and it still didn't look good.
Right, but
It
as
looked
he
just
aged,
like that.
more
It looked like that?
stuff,
Like
that
that.
probably would have been more
You see
dangerous.
Hulk Hogan, he's doing, you know how he used to wind it up and do like this? It was like,
Wasn't even the same. Yep.
no. I'm like, look, I know
What
hey,
Christina was saying something? What was you saying, Christina?
He was talking about what if he was like juicing or something, and that probably would have been more dangerous because as you age, your bones and stuff get more brittle. So if he actually has power
Good point.
because of chemicals and he's trying to fight and his bones can't handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
And real
So
talk,
I'm just saying, like, good thing, like, I don't know that he wasn't doing anything like that.
I'm gonna be honest too. I never seen Jake Paul fight, right? I've never seen him live until these upcoming events. And so when I remember Bobby asked me on the last on our meeting, he was like, "Who do I have?" I was like, I didn't think nothing. But then when I saw Jake Paul come out,
Well, he's not
I'm like,
to be
bro,
played with. He's not to
he
be
did the job.
He ain't
He
no
did
chump.
the work on himself, dude. I was like, Jake Paul, and this. He about to, like I said, I don't support elder abuse. This man was gonna knock him out if he really wanted to.
Yeah, he didn't go hard on him at all.
He didn't.
No, there
He
was,
didn't.
there was
He didn't
I
hard
think it
at
was
all.
like in the third round. I was telling my husband, I said, look, watch what he did, because we ended up watching it later, but he went like twice at his head with his left hook, and there was a part where he paused and he put his hand down and chose not to hit him again.
Chose not to hit him.
You saw that?
Yep.
He chose.
Yeah.
I saw that the whole fight. Yep.
I'm about to say the whole fight
So
Really
thoughtful.
but no.
because he was able to dance around Mike. Once I saw Mike knees buckling a little bit, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's done."
When I saw
The
him
laser
fight
there
his
is-
glove, like
There's y'all
I was
and
thinking-
some other people in the world, because I see a lot of complaints about that. Oh, he was pulling punches. What, you want him to like beat the crap out of somebody? And
yeah, I said,
Nah, I ain't want him to do all that. No.
Nobody wanted
Like,
that.
part of me was
I
like,
like
I
that.
want to see it, but the other part,
I'm glad he
was like,
didn't fall down. Shit.
I was
He
like,
stayed
why
on his
is it
feet
like
the
that?
whole time.
Hey.
Thank you,
Yeah.
God.
I'm gonna tell you what, he did better than the
That's a
Netflix
victory.
servers. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
He sure did. He
Oh,
fought a
for
good fight.
real.
He
Them
won.
servers ain't even put up a fight.
No, them servers didn't. I got people in other group meets talking about, hey, anybody else fight tripping up? I was like, up, down, left, right, do A start.
Yeah, man. Hey, overall, I think it was a good fight, but hey, I need Netflix to upgrade their AWS account. They need to boost up their auto scaling. Ain't that right, Daniel? All my cloud people on here.
They probably
They
won't
For
get an
sure,
opportunity
100%.
to do this again unless they do something. They're gonna.
Oh
have
no,
to
they
prove
got
that they have the
WWE
ability.
in January.
Yeah, they
And-
better
Yeah.
fix this in the hot wash. Like
Yeah.
y'all know them network
might-
engineers with sweat.
This might have been the test.
Yeah.
It might have been
There
a
you
test
go.
for them to say,
point.
okay, we could do
Yep.
something better, you know?
I
Oh,
still
yeah.
think everybody should get like a $5 credit.
They ain't
Hey,
gonna
you
do
think
that.
they're gonna get
Ain't
like
gonna
some
get
type
that.
of? You think Tyson and Jake Paul are gonna like set some type of record for like the first main live event to ever be on Netflix? You know, is
Oh,
that
I'm
the first
sure.
like live event ever?
No,
Or
Yeah,
they
have there
had
been others?
Chris Rock stand up. His
No,
last.
I mean like an actual,
like a
a
bout.
yeah, like a sporting event
Oh,
of
sporting
any kind.
event?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not
Football,
sure.
basketball,
Maybe.
anything.
Maybe.
Well, football
Good
is
point.
coming.
I was about to say, I
Basketball is
swear I
coming.
saw that football was coming. Thank God.
Yeah. But here's one thing I can say. Netflix, they started this streaming shit. And look at the things they get.
Hey.
It's still under $20
That's
too.
a good point to switch
1,000%.
topics, man. That's a good point to switch topics. Hey,
Yeah.
overall, I think it was a good fight, Netflix. Damn, you made me feel bad for talking trash to Netflix now because they did start this streaming shit. You right.
Yeah.
Hey, step your damn auto scaling game up, Netflix. That's all I
I
got.
still miss the DVDs in the mail.
Right?
Bring that
I
back.
used to get the DVDs in the mail too.
So let's talk about this next topic, man. Let's talk about raising kids in the digital age. So this was a topic that Daniel had came up with, man. So I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you if you could kind of start us out on this one, sir. What was on your mind when you was thinking about this topic?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like personal experiences, really. You know, I got a 16-year-old daughter. She'll be 17 next month. I know I don't look that old, but you know, it is what
I was gonna say,
Right.
it is.
Bro,
Hey, I
you're
wanna-
looking like you're 19. I know damn well you didn't have your daughter when you were
He got a baby face.
I
like,
get
man,
that
how
a
you-
lot, man.
16
I
years
don't
old.
believe you.
He was a daddy at 12.
I bring her in here. She looks like me. Yeah, I'm one of the ones, you know. I guess kind of unique situation. I raised her all the way up to this point or whatever, you know. And I didn't grow up how she grew up. We ain't had cell phones and stuff. I'm sure y'all can relate to that too, you know.
Yep.
And so as she gets into trouble, normal teenage stuff, but for some reason it's just kind of like times 5 or times 10 because of these damn
Cell
devices
phone. Yeah.
and this big web of digital footprint, you know, that just kind of got her in a lot of stuff and all that. It's just difficult, man, and I find myself like trying to chastise a child in an environment or in a society that is all being raised by this digital technology landscape. It is crazy. It's real difficult to do. So I just wanted to talk about the challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of us are facing. I'm sure a lot of other parents is facing the same things too. So yeah, see, we all can relate, right?
For me, I'm gonna go ahead and say, for me, I was able to raise kids without digital stuff.
Okay.
Because cell phones didn't really come into play until my kids were on their way into middle school, and even then, it wasn't as prevalent. And then now I have one that's in high school, and it's a lot, you know, more around.
Mm.
And honestly, I haven't changed my parenting that much. And I think that is kind of benefited how things work for me and my kids, because my older kids who are adults now, I'm like, hey, you never know when I'm going to show up. You never know when I'm going to check on you. You're going to have natural consequences. You're going to reap the consequences of your behavior.
Ooh,
So if
I
they
like
say they're
it.
going to be somewhere, they better be there, because I may or may not pop up. So they were always afraid, I guess. Is the way to put it.
That's some damn parenting right there. I like that.
I know I know some of my kids
Parent side.
now, some of the parents actually read all of their kids' text messages in real time.
Mm.
And you're not giving them a chance to make mistakes that you actually can kind of see where it goes. And what I do now with my kid in high school, I don't see her text messages on a different device. I say, give me your phone and unlock it.
Mm.
And she
like
doesn't
that.
have time to delete anything, but she's also aware that I'm going to do that one day. It's not like I just out of the blue do it.
Right.
Hey, there might be a day that I do this, and whatever's on your phone, we're going to talk about it. And not everything requires punishment. Not everything requires a consequence. Sometimes you just have to talk to them about it.
Mm.
And another unique thing that I think I do as a parent, I don't know if other people have. If they have, I haven't really met anybody. But I believe that, especially for me, because I do parent by myself for the most part, I have to be mom and dad. And sometimes the mom side needs to be first, and then the dad side comes second. So if one of my kids breaks my rules and I find out because something happened that is really upsetting to them or harmful to them in an emotional capacity, they get about 24 hours of me being mom. Okay. And I'll give an example. One of my kids had a relationship in middle school, and they know that's a no-go for me. And then something happened. Their heart got broken. And one of their sisters finally told them to come talk to me. And I said, wow, you broke one of my rules. Now I know why you haven't been talking to me. I'm going to help you through the emotional part. I said, but in 24 hours, we're going to talk about the consequences of you breaking my rule. The biggest consequence of that was how it affected our relationship. That kid of mine was hiding from me, and it tore up our relationship. So I guess I don't see that there really needs to be a difference in how you parent. I think there just needs to be a lot of conversation and explaining the reasons behind your choices as a parent. Like, I don't really like that my 15-year-old has social media and stuff like that.
Right.
But I would rather know about it and kind of keep an eye on it than for them to do it behind my back, if that makes sense. You can't really stop them from doing it. Just like when I was a teenager.
All their friends got it.
Stop me.
All their friends got it. All of their friends got it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I have a different perspective on it. I parent my kids the way I wish my parents would have parented me.
I'm gonna let Bobby go because I know what Bobby's gonna say, and I think me and Bobby is like on the same wave. Go ahead, Bobby.
So, Daniel and Christina, I know we don't know each other well. Daniel, I know I've seen you in the office, man.
You have.
I know I have.
Probably.
I have. But listen, I have 6 kids. I have 5 girls and 1 boy. Okay, 6 kids. My 15-year-old, my 8-year-old, and my 5-year-old live with me. And so my 17, 18, and 20-year-old, they don't quite get parented the way that my 15-year-old specifically does. And I'm going to pinpoint her because she's in a unique area. I discipline her differently than I will my 5-year-old because my standards and expectations are going to be very different. So, Christina, I'm on your page. I'm not going to say I'm that mom. I am absolutely that mom, and I could care less what people think because I own that phone. I told my daughter when you call somebody on your phone, it says Bobby Lopez. It does not say your name. This phone is This phone is an absolute privilege. There's no social media and no boyfriends until the age of 16. And so that's just a rule that I put in my house. Just like you said, I'm parenting her the way I wish my parents would have given me some guidance. I'm like, man, there was some times where I'm just like, I had too much room and I didn't do any bad stuff because I was bullied real heavily. So I just didn't do stupid stuff. But at the same time, I had plenty of room to do stupid stuff. And because of the digital age, I think that because of the digital footprint our kids have, just like adults do and stuff, they don't have social media. And I'll tell you, there was a time in December, last December, where I felt like my daughter was on her phone like a lot, but she was using Safari a lot. I went on and looked, and I found out she had used a friend's email and phone number at school to create an Instagram account. When I found this out, and I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I'm about to bust open this little emotional bubble and tell you I cannot believe you can be You came across my Instagram feed as somebody I may know. Somebody I may know. I was all over her like a white rice paper plate in a snowstorm in the middle of Fort Drum. Listen, I was all over that because not only did she lie to me, but you can't hide because you came across my feed as somebody you may know, and I'm like, how in the world? How did this even happen, right? But then I to open it up, she didn't have time to erase anything. Sure enough, that's where all the messages were, where she was really talking to. That's what
I'm not saying not to have.
It wasn't through text message. It was through social media. She got her phone taken away until her birthday at the very end of May, and even then, I've been very specific about when she has it. When she walks through the door, after she gets off the bus, she turns it into my room. She does not have her chores done at a amount of time. I'm the bee mom. I'll be that bee mom because I'm the mom. I'm not here to be a best friend.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't have rules like that. I have rules as well, but my kids are allowed to ask to have a conversation with me about it. And there have been a very few times that I have moved the bar on them in their favor. And I also do that. If they break my trust, that's a no-no for me. You break my trust and go behind my back and do something, I will find out. That's my whole point of saying. Before, it was like, you better be where you say you're going to be. Yeah. Because you never know.
I like that a lot. Hell
that's
yeah.
The other thing I do the same thing with technology. I don't sit there and watch so many parents are like watching their grades every day and watching. I don't do any of that.
I can't do that. Nope.
I'll wait till the report card comes out and then you're on restriction until the report card.
I'm looking at Donald, right? Donald was like, I don't have these problems.
That comes out of the fear though, and that fear, there needs to be a healthy fear, because if I tell my daughter I'm going to do something, she knows I'm not bluffing. I told her that if I caught her with this again, her phone would get taken away until she's 18 years old, and she has a way to get. Look,
that's the biggest problem with parents is they lack follow through. You have to follow through with what you say you're going to do.
I literally took my daughter's phone, and now she has no phone forever. Like, she literally has no. She could get hit by a car, and I wouldn't know about it. I'd rather just show up to the city. I'd rather find out later.
We don't have payphones anymore. I hate that they got rid of payphones.
Yeah, I hate that.
That part.
Your turn, Corey.
Look, so my kids are 9 and 12, and the 12-year-old, right? Because of the fact that I work in technology, I've always worked in technology for the last 20-something years. I've had access and privy to some information. So what I ended up doing was I ended up getting my kids smartwatches, right? Not Apple Watches, but smartwatches. You know what I'm saying? To be able to one, to see if they can keep up with it. Because with kids, sometimes they'll lose stuff and be like, "Oh, I lost it," and that's it. And I'm like, I'm about to give you no $1,000 phone when you're gonna just say you lost it and just keep going on your merry way and ask me what's for dinner. That $1,000 phone is gonna be what's for dinner. You know what I'm saying? But number two, by working in the wireless industry, I realized that mobile device management tools are able to be put on these devices without the kids knowing. And so, but it's still, the thing about it is kids are kids. I mean, we set the parameters, and if they go outside those parameters, there's consequences and repercussions. Pointblankperiod.com with a P on. So I remember when my daughter created a TikTok. She was like, I'm like, wait, you got TikTok? Like, I don't even want you on social media. You got a TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And she doing all this and doing all this. I'm like, what is this? It's Riz. What the hell is a Riz? I don't want to know nothing about no Riz. You know what I'm saying?
She rizzing you up.
So I emailed TikTok. TikTok said that this person said they were the same age they were. I'm like, really? You can't tell this girl is not 13, she's 11. You know what I'm saying? 11 going on 5. So I'm like, okay, whatever, right? But they have iPads. And so that's when the mobile device management tools came into place. And I'm like, look, if I got to pay extra to do it, cool. And then it got to the point where it's like, that we showed them how to use Canva. I showed my son how to use ChatGPT, but they went behind our backs and ended up going with one of their friends at school. Did the same thing, created an Instagram with their friend's phone number and email, and we found it. And like I said, me being in the tech industry, I found the password, the email, phone number, and I reset everything. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at all these DMs. I'm like, first, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening. My kids are going through puberty. And the second thing about it is like, they did not talk to me. So I was mad, frustrated and everything. But I was more disappointed in the fact that they already knew the rule.
They get behind your back.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I gave y'all smartwatches. And yes, I only restrict y'all to follow me and mommy and each other because of the fact I wanted to see how well you're going to do with these. Because one, they didn't lose them. So that's good. Number two, I was going to take off the phone restriction so they can call to other people. But when I found out that they were trying to create their own social medias, then I went on there politely and just embarrassed them. I took their face off and put my face on, Ravens down, looking just like this. And they're like, "Why is this?"
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's it.
Threat that I used to have for my kids is like, you better say where you're going to be, because if I find out you're not there, I'm going to come embarrass you. And I told them all the different stupid ways that I would embarrass them, like dressing a certain way and stuff. Like, we got to have fun as parents. We're going to go crazy.
Exactly.
I like that.
I told my daughter if she ever got dress coded because she lied to me about what she was wearing to school. Normally, I dress code her in the mornings. I showed her what the dress code is, and I told her, don't talk to me about what other little girls are wearing because I ain't their mom. I ain't going to have you dressing like a hoodlum. I said, when you step out of this threshold, you are a representation of me and your dad.
Yes.
Kids don't
get
that. I'm not going to have you out here acting like any of these little girls. I don't care.
Nope.
I'm not their parent.
Nope. My biggest thing that I hate about raising kids in the digital era is these phones are creating assholes. Like eye to eye. I was taught when you talk to someone, you look them in the eye. There's no looking them in the eye. Like, you could be telling them something very important about anything, and they're like, yeah.
They scrolling Instagram
because it's not a 15-second video, bro.
Dude, hey.
Norms. You sound like a boomer right now.
No, I am a millennial that was raised by a boomer. It's still rude. It's because it's a social norm doesn't mean it's not rude.
And that's when you take their chin and you lift it up and you take the phone and you say, when I speak to you, I expect you to look at me here. You can't just.
That's why they got smartwatches.
Yep.
The only thing you do is just text messages and set alarms.
Take the phone.
I like that.
I got a question for you moms. Hey, moms. Do you spank your kids, or you just spank your kid? You know, give them a good ass
say that
whooping.
on Donald. We can't say that on.
But that doesn't work for all children.
You can't say butt whooping.
No,
we can't say that.
We're not supposed to because it's considered as child.
Ooh, okay. Well, let me.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know the lingo.
I'll correct you on that.
Just little people on YouTube.
According to social services, that is.
God don't go give us.
I'm just saying. So yes, it's not the law, but yes, social services is child abuse, so you can't do it.
See, if my mom was to do something, she would just and then I showed disrespect, she would just smack me in the back of the head, and I would fucking stop doing what I would freaking stop doing what I was doing.
So, Donald,
ladies and gentlemen, Dr.
I'll tell you what I've done a few times. So I know I've told you before. I've been in the Army for 18 years. I'm an NCO. And I expect when I talk to you, obviously there's going to be some respect there. So what I've done is, if I feel like my kids, and you can ask my older daughter especially, you can ask her. I've had her, even when she wasn't supposed to do something and she still continued to do it, I had her talk to me in a push-up position and do push-ups while you're speaking to me. You're hurting, but I'm not causing the pain. Your lack of judgment is causing your own pain.
Like,
I didn't do
right.
that.
Like that.
I didn't do nothing.
I have my kids.
When they tell me their arms are hurting, I transition their butts over to wall sits. You will do
that's not
wall
how to
sits. Your legs will burn, baby. We're going to get you ready for the Olympics if you keep acting stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's child abuse too, though. I think they classify that as child abuse.
get out of here, man. No,
If anything, it's mental abuse. You are doing so
Okay.
much psychological damage to that child that they are going to resent you for the rest of their lives.
man,
Hey,
she's good.
Everything child
Maybe not your guys' case,
Hold on,
but in a
hold on,
lot of
hold on.
cases, that's
But
how
it's
children
not
end up
always the
resenting
law.
their parents for the rest of their lives, you know?
Social
And
services
in the
is
Bible, I
everything
think
child
it says
abuse, but it's
something
not
about like not to lord over your children, something like that, you know? I don't remember what the verse is exactly, but
It says fathers don't prevent your children to wrath.
Man,
so I mean, you know, you guys gotta have some type of mercy for your kids, man. They're just learning, you know?
And that's the
Now,
reason why in
look,
the Bible,
okay, so
when the phrase was, when they were speaking to the wise men, when it says spare the rod, spoil the child, those were the wise men, the men who not to take it too far as to be an abuse, but also a discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. It was in that part.
their mercy was when I didn't touch
But
them. That's mercy.
just like I would always say, like you raising a whole person.
Yes.
They got their own thoughts, feelings, everything. Like, but we always look at our kids as an extension of us. So everything they do by disappointing us or whatever the case may be, you gotta understand that's a whole nother person right there. They're gonna do what they want to do. You gave them all the tools, all the information that they need, and they do what they want to do. Depending on what it is, you can guide them through it. But there's a lot of other things where you got to stand on your square.
Yeah.
Which is why I took my daughter's phone. And even if you can resent me all you want as you go through life, but you're gonna know that I'm right. I was correct in what I did. And everybody, you can talk to anybody. Everybody's gonna be like, he was correct in what he did. That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't did such said thing, you would have never got your phone taken. But you kept trying it and trying it and trying it. And now I'm gonna teach you accountability before you get out there in the streets teach you accountability.
Now, see, as a kid, if a kid were to hear that, I think that they would hear that and accept that and then learn from that, you know? But if you just start hounding them with, hey, you can't do this, that, if they don't mentally start blocking you out, they're gonna, and it's not in all cases, but I know for me, I would have blocked my mother out completely. And just,
that goes to what Christina was saying. That's why it's important. She said she mentioned communication. Y'all got to be talking all the time.
Well,
I lost a relationship with my mom for a really long time because we had a hard time in that youth and childhood. And so during my 20s, like, we didn't talk at all. And, you know, it was actually kind of the church that, when I went to the church, that made me take the steps to forgive my mom, you know, for the things that happened and transpired. And we were able to grow from there. So I can thank the church and God for that. But because of the way my mom handled certain things, disciplinary wise, maybe it's just a single mom thing. I'm sure if I had a father there, it would have been a lot more helpful for her. But because of the way she handled some things, it created a lot of hatred and distrust between me and her, and it damaged our relationship for years and years and years. And she had the same thing with her parents. You know, her parents did horrible things to her as a child that caused her to have certain mental issue, you know what I'm saying? Not an issue, but a certain way of handling situations. You know, how can some parent teach love if they weren't loved as a child? You know, like,
good point.
I don't know.
Right. Hurt people
do hurt people.
So, I'm just saying, I'm hearing some of your moms up here and dads, and I'm like, man, some of this stuff you guys are saying, I would take, but if I were a kid and you're, you know, saying some of these things, it wouldn't be beneficial for our relationship. And if you guys as parents are happy with that,
so you got
there's
a
nothing.
good point. You got a good point. Let me chime in real quick. So one of the things you're talking about, Donald, he has a point, right? And you, to your point too, Christina. I think what y'all said was the things you did before you started the punishment, right? You had the conversations, you did lay the ground rules and stuff like that, right? So I don't think you're wrong, Dr. Pooh, but I think this is a good transition to our next topic, which is entitlement issues, right? I think one of the things that social media has done with these damn phones is created massive entitlement issues with these children. So even when you take the time to have the conversations with them, you explain to them, no one explained nothing to me. You do it because I said it, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't get to ask why. So, but the social media, I feel like is giving them permission to question us and want to understand every damn detail. What y'all think about that?
Can I go?
Go ahead.
Hey, Corey.
I feel that there's some. I want to be the parent that I believe that I deserve
Mhm.
with my kids. You know what I'm saying? I know my mom did the best she had with what she could. My stepfather, who was in the home, he did the best he could with what he has. They both came from broken homes when they were growing up. However, they love God and they just trying to figure shit out. Right.
Mhm.
One thing is when I started going to church and I had a nice brotherhood and mentorship with the men in there, I realized that their story is not my story. So what I ended up doing was trying to write my own story. So with that, I didn't bring on that parental friendship. I put on that parental coveringship, if that makes sense, right? You know what I'm saying? And like when we were asking our parents, like, why? Well, like, why? Because I said so, and don't ask me again.
Mm-hmm.
The thing
Just
about
like
it
that,
is,
yeah.
I would just be raising another why because I said so, and don't ask me again. And then the trauma and the relationships that I had with my parents will be just passed on. So what I ended up doing is I didn't tell them why. I gave them the reason, but I also had to let them know what the reason behind it. So they say, well, how come we can't have a phone? The reason why you can't have a phone is because you're not responsible because of A, B, and C. I roll out the facts because of the fact that when they see the facts, then they say, oh, okay. I'm like, and then I give them, because it's a hamburger. You tell them the why. No, you tell them what it is. Then you give them the meat of it, and then you come back down with the bottom of the bun and say, if you end up being able to do these, then I don't see a problem with you having a phone because I got phones in my drawer.
Yeah.
And the reason being because of the fact that I know that eventually they're gonna want a device. I'm not gonna give them $1,000 device. I'm gonna have them start off with a $500 device. Right now they got a $250 watch.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Get them a prepaid phone, man. Just get them a burner.
nah, we ain't getting no burner. The wrong person
Get a
called the
burner
phone and
phone.
said,
Hey,
no.
hey, I
What-
want
what
to
is-
throw
what is-
something in there. Because I feel like kids nowadays do feel entitled. Like, hey, you said you wanted a phone. Nothing said you had to have a smartphone. I'll get you an old.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got a phone?
Flip phone.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Dad, everybody else got an iPhone.
hey,
when you
I
say
ain't paying for
entitled-
everybody else's phone.
Like, let me get that eye sticker and put on it. Now you got an iPhone.
Understand the
Then you get my
entitlement
iPhone.
question. Like when you're talking about entitlement, like I don't know. I hate to say it, but I don't have those issues with my kids. So like when I see stuff on TV, I don't think it's a social media issue. I think it's a parenting issue because I don't have a lot of money, and I don't drive. All my cars are used, and one of my cars was gifted to me that was used because my other one was broken.
Mhm.
So like my kids may want fancy things, but I've also shown them, like, I don't show them that, hey, if you don't have a lot of money, you don't go buy yourself a brand new vehicle. That's just not how you do things. And I've taken my kids to thrift stores. You want to know where my 15-year-old likes to shop? The thrift store.
Hey,
And so I don't think it's a social media issue. I think it's a parenting issue because these parents, I thought, my daughter watches these shows and I watch them with her sometimes on YouTube. One of them, I love Funky Frog Bait. I don't know if I can shout out, but she had this one thing about the Sephora kids who go in there and mess everything up in Sephora and they want all this face stuff. And they're like blaming social media and stuff. And I'm like, no, it's the parents. Why are you buying your kids adult face products? Like I don't, or the parents that are like, look at the crappy clothes that I wear, and my kids are wearing Gucci. Why?
Yeah.
Why are your kids wearing?
I hope ain't nobody
Gucci?
doing that stupid stuff. That is
Yeah.
people
ridiculous.
do that,
What?
yo.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen
it's
it.
a whole
I
channel
ain't
on
seen that.
YouTube,
I
bro.
want to talk
Several.
with my daughter about that. I told her, when you get to the age of you have your own money, because right now you have no concept of how much a dollar is worth. I told her, here's how we're gonna stretch, make things stretch. When we go to the Goodwill on the nice side of San Antonio, we don't go over here because I live out in the country, but we'll go to the Goodwill. We've been to the Goodwill out there on like I-10 and Days of Bala on like the Richter side of town, and she's got nice or apostle shirts, old navy pants, so she's still getting name brands, but we're not paying for no dang name brand prices. So that sense of entitlement, like you said, Christina, absolutely goes back to the parents. We can have nice things without having to pay full price for them. It's okay to have something used because God knows you're not going to wear these pants in a year and a half anyways, because either you're going to outgrow them, they might break, like, you know, or they might tear or something. I don't know, but you may not be wearing them as you grow up. And then when you do get to be a certain age, if you want to go splurge because you're making that kind of money.
So let me ask you
Go
this,
do it.
Daniel.
This isn't even just about children, though.
What about family?
Clarify.
What kind of entitlement issues have you seen with family,
Oh, yeah.
Daniel?
I've seen a lot with family, you know, like and I think a lot of people encounter some of these issues. You know, y'all grow up together, whatever the case may be. You got it, they don't have it, but you got it. Can I get it? You know what I mean?
True.
$200, whatever the case may be. You like what? A couple times, yeah, but then it becoming a habit, and now it turns into, once you're giving somebody money like that or whatever, giving them something, and then the moment you say no, you just built that entitlement for them. Too.
That's what I'm saying. Your behavior and your
And
lack
so-
of boundaries. People are
Yeah,
only
yeah,
entitled
yeah,
when
boundaries.
people allow them to be entitled.
Like for my
Hold on. Say
family,
that again, Christina.
People are only entitled when you allow them to be entitled. You set those boundaries and you set
Yeah.
those expectations. My brother lives in a mini mansion, and I don't ever expect for him to pay for anything. I'll pull my wallet out when we go to places.
hey, some families out there don't.
But
Some families out there don't work like that though. They really be like,
that's
they
because
really be trying to
society
play you.
has poor
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Daniel, I
Really
have a
do.
parent like that. I have a parent like that who didn't make good choices at all through my life.
Mismanage their life, right?
And
Mismanage their life.
They've mismanaged their life, their finances, and barely getting it together at the age of 63.
At the age of,
And
yep.
it was always like, oh, well, Bobby, just let me get a little over here. Or, hey, I've been paying your phone bill for the last 6 years. Do you think you could throw me $50 every once in a while for the phone bill? Like,
It's
something.
doing them a
But-
disservice, to be honest. I mean, I learned that the hard way with my adult kids. I think I helped my adult kids a little bit too much when they kind of got out of, when I kind of had to push them out of the house.
Push them out, yeah.
And I think I did them a disservice in the beginning. Now I'm like, poor too.
Because I can really speak to that too. Because what it does is I had this conversation with my mother. My mother is almost like my daughter. Like I teach her a lot. She calls me for information. You know, it's crazy.
Are we related, Daniel? That's all I need to know.
No, that's
But
the same thing, bro. My mom literally, she calls me to come over to her house to show her how to answer her voicemail. I'm
Yeah.
like, Mama, I'm not getting out my bed just to come to your house at 8 o'clock in the night just to check your voicemail.
I'm my
Boundary.
help desk technician. I can't tell you how many times, Bobby, I'm stuck on this area. I can't get my Google password in here. I've been her personal help desk technician for years.
you can't my biggest point is part of my point is you can't continue to. At what point are you aiding people and participating in their BS?
So
whatever
my
the case may
answer
be,
to that
It's
is
one thing
if
for you to
they
help
cause
somebody,
their own
but it's
problem,
another thing for you to.
That's how I decide to help
Yes,
my kids.
but that's the point I was
That's how
getting ready to
the only
make is
way I
that
help my kids
I can't hear Christina that
Oh,
well.
I'm sorry.
Say that
The
again,
only way
Christina?
I'll help my kids is if they did
Oh,
cause
can hear a
their
little
own
better.
problem.
Oh,
If they cause their own
Ooh.
problem, I will not help
Yes.
them. That's how I differ.
Yes.
I have a very logical brain, but a very big heart. So I use this more now than I used to.
Good.
I try
That's
to make
good.
a
That's
logical
good.
choice.
Yeah. Man, like
I like that phrase.
I like that.
I help you, but if you cause a problem, you
on your
Yeah,
own, man.
Yeah, look, what I had to teach my mother is you got to stop jumping to help other people because they start to build resentment for you for not even letting them go through what they got to go through.
Ooh.
Believe it or not, some people's minds
Well,
work
my
like
boss
that.
taught me that.
My mom had a hero syndrome until she had a stroke.
Mm.
My
Yeah.
mom was helping everybody. She helped 3 of her friends. All 3 of them had passed away. She was helping her neighbor. He ended up, and then when she had her stroke, nobody was there for her but me and my brother.
Damn.
And I was explaining to her and her sister. And I was explaining to her, I was like, Mama, my mom's 73. And at the time, She was like a 53-year-old 73, like out and about. You know what I'm saying? She had her life. She had her car. She was moving. Well, after she had that stroke, she's a 73. And everybody who she was helping either dead or they in the hospital laid up somewhere or they nowhere around. And I was explaining to her. Yeah, and it's the thing with our parents. I have a lot more sympathy than I have with my kids because my kids they're gonna grow up. But my mom,
they gonna change.
Yeah, my mom been here for 70 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I understand when she grew up in a with a mentality where they went to school in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. So she didn't have an education that we currently have now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Although she could have did it, she probably didn't have the mental state because I was encouraging her when she was in her 50s to go back to school. I was trying to get her to go to El Camino College when I graduated from high school. And she was like, nah, I'm not going to college. I ain't got no time to do. I'm like, Mama, you ain't your kids. I'm the youngest. I'm out of high school.
Yeah,
because she's helping everybody else.
She was running here and running there. And then I was like, Mama, what happens if you don't? She was like, well, who gonna help you? I was like, Mama, there's somebody. I mean, who gonna help them? I said, they're gonna find somebody else. But she and I was telling her, I'm like, Mama, you gonna keep on doing this until you get yourself sick. And when she had that stroke, it was it. And the good thing about things now is like she can do for herself. She's up, she's slower now. But the thing about it is now that if she had not had that stroke and she had listened to me, her 73-year-old life would be a lot better than what it is now than just laying in the house waiting for me or my brother to come and see her and take her places.
You know what I think you just highlighted? And I think this is another form of entitlement that comes from our parents, the family, right? I think because they are our parents, they feel like they're so entitled, they ain't got to listen to us. Because I've dealt with that a lot too. You know what I mean? Where my mom's is helping some of my family she shouldn't be helping. And I'll be like, you know you're enabling, right? Oh, no. You're being an enabler. You're being an enabler. I think someone asked that earlier. There's a fine line between helping someone and enabling someone.
Yeah, that was me.
That was you that said that, right?
Even for your children, your friends, your parents, you cannot. Honestly, I don't give my mom. I just got my mom back in my life 2 years ago. We had been estranged.
Me too.
And I realized, and both of us had to do a lot of growing before this happened. But one thing I realized is I can't give her advice unless she asks me for it. So I just listen. That's what I really try to do is I try to listen or I try to ask questions. Honestly, the best way I found to give advice is to ask questions. Well, how is that affecting you?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Like, did they have an epiphany?
Like, I got the best way to do it by asking questions like a therapist.
They be like, you know what?
I guess we're all related and we all have the same mom is what it sounds like.
And then I
for sure it does.
Yeah, and then sometimes I have to wait until she's not in an emotional state and I'll say, Mom, I'm really concerned about you because your behavior has drastically changed from blah, 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 and now it's affecting our relationship. As soon as I say that perks her up. She gets defensive,
Nice.
but I just leave it there.
Yeah.
I continue the conversation. I let her get defensive and I just leave it there and then she marinates on it and comes back. If you hound people constantly, and I learned that with my first ex-husband, I just drop it on him and walk away because if you hound them, they get defensive and then they start thinking about your behavior and not their own.
Has your mom been diagnosed with any
bars?
Has your mom ever been diagnosed with anything
Oh, my mom's a crazy crackpot like I am. We both got psycho problems.
Well, no, my mom gets help from the VA, but she legit has like a couple of different bipolar disorders. And when I found this out, I was like, I knew it.
My mom has severe PTSD as her biggest problem, and so do I. And so, and the other problem is she was in the psych field and I was in the psych field. So talk about two people trying to psychoanalyze each other.
Oh gosh.
You analyzing me.
We had to learn to communicate.
Yeah. They be profiling each other at the dinner table.
That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
What made you
Playing
pick the
chess.
blue Kool-Aid?
Playing chess
Why
just
pick
at the
the-
dinner table. It's crazy.
But look,
But, yeah.
one thing about family is they are who they are, and we got them.
True.
And guess what?
True.
There's a holiday that's coming up, and that holiday is Christmas. And you want to know what's so good about Christmas?
What's so good about
I'm
Christmas,
gonna tell
man?
you. Let me tell you about Christmas.
Yeah.
These technically speaking shirts, all right? And I don't know if you know, but you see the little eagles right there on top of the corners right over there?
Yeah.
Let me show you what we got going on
Phoenixes.
for you.
They're
I
Phoenix.
want you guys to
Phoenixes? Them ain't eagles. Phoenixes, right?
Phoenix. Yeah,
Kid.
my bad. You know what I mean. Please forgive me. No disrespect to the bird nation out there. And let's take a look at our technically speaking website.
There you go.
So as you can see,
Hey,
Christmas
let's
is
go.
around the time, and we have our technically speaking holiday shirts.
Need some hats.
We're working on that.
Yeah, is that Netflix?
All right,
Nah,
Netflix?
it's not Netflix. Okay, my bad. Let me see if you capture. Did I get? There we go.
That's a nice sweater. That looks
Okay,
nice.
yeah, there we go. It's in our technically speaking catalog, right?
Can you put
there.
that logo on the back?
You know what? We do customs, and we will. We can do that for you.
Yeah, I feel like
And
that
guess
logo
what?
would be better on
I
the
will
back,
give you a
too.
coupon for that. And so we have it in black. We have it in red. And just give it some time because of the bandwidth. You know, Netflix
All right.
is getting back up, and so are we.
We the ones.
That's gonna be the new
Yeah.
thing. Hey man, why you Netflixing?
Why you Netflix? Okay, so we have the red. There we
There we
go.
go. Yeah. Oh, I need that.
The Christmas hat, and you know the little ice on the wings. Got to make sure
Yeah, I
that.
like
That's
that.
dope.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And then let's go back. Why not celebrate your Christmas gifts in the wrapping paper?
Hey.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, there we go. We got that there for you too. We have it in 30 by 36, 30 by 72.
Mm.
And it's still early enough so you can get it in time, you know, to wrap those gifts. Let's go.
Wrap those gifts. Exactly. And we have it in 30 by 8, 180. But that's not the only thing we have. We have our, technically speaking, t-shirts. Somebody said logo on the back. We got
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a.
boom.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you
that
go.
looks really good.
I
on
was
the
on
black.
that. Okay.
Yeah. And we have these in the nice
Oh, good.
eagle
Different
red.
colors.
We have cranberry. We have Pyru.
You going through every color, man?
Did you say Haru?
Hey, look.
I
That
got the
does
blue.
look good on jean blue too. Okay.
Come
And, you know what I'm saying? There we go. So in the meantime, between time, why don't you go ahead over to technically speaking .me and grab you
Products.
some product. Technically speaking .printify.me. It will be in the video description, and it will also be messaged to you too. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We will be giving out coupons and discounts later on at the end of the month. And Geronimo, it's back to you, brother. 'Cause I'm
Hey,
about
man.
to stop there.
Get you some merch, man. Get the merch. All right. So before we close this
Buy the
thing
merch,
out,
buy the merch, buy the
we
merch. I
got
actually have a
we
song.
got one more topic to cover, and this topic is about the sovereign citizen movement. What is that, Dr. Poole?
Well, it by American standards is crazy and not lawful. So I got a bunch of notes here. I went online and got a whole bunch of different facts from different places. Can't play any videos, so I would just suggest for you guys to go on YouTube. And you just go on YouTube and type in sovereign citizen. And I mean, you'll just have pages of encounters with these guys in court and on like police body cams and whatnot. And you guys could see for yourselves how they act, what they say, and what their defenses are for skirting the laws here in America. So basically, some of the things that they believe in are they claim not to be an actual person. They charge cops and courts a bill for their time. So if they go to court, they try and charge the court for their time, and the cops pull them over. They want to charge the police for the time that they're taking. They don't believe in paying taxes. They don't believe that courts have any type of rulership over them. They don't believe in driver's licenses because they say they're not conducting commerce. They believe they don't need license plates or registration or insurance. In court, they say that they are members of a corporate state or a sovereign citizen. Some key facts that I got from the project is they claim to be private citizens who don't need IDs, driver's licenses, or other government info because they claim the law system has no right over them. It was traced back to a group in 1970 that promotes anti-government conspiracy. They believe that one must consent to the government in order for the government to have rule over them. And because they choose not to be ruled by the government, they claim that the government has no claim over them because they are free people, pretty much walking the land. Another interesting fact, it was inspired by the Magna Carta back in the 13th century by King John. This stuff's not happening in communist countries either, guys. Like, if you go to a communist country or some of these other states where you do anything out of line with the government, they might cut your head off, or they're going to put you in a re-education camp or something like that. So these are things that aren't necessarily happening all over the world, but they are happening in predominantly Western civilization. So
this is happening in the United States.
It's happening in the United States,
Oh,
throughout Europe, all throughout Europe, and in Australia. So predominantly Caucasian countries.
They're allowing it to happen?
Well, I think
That's my
these are
question.
the countries that allow people to have freedoms to be able to speak out against the government, as opposed to other countries who will not let you speak out against the government. So, like, the whole entire group is an anti-communist group. So communism being the point that you have to do and say what we tell you to do and say, or else. And they're claiming that our society in America is a communist. They don't subscribe to that. And because they have the freedoms to say what they want to say, they're able to proclaim this to try and get themselves out of situations. But out of all of the court cases, none of them have been able to beat the court cases at all. Some other,
successful.
Found out.
I mean, what's the return on investment here, people?
Yeah.
a lot of the times they represent themselves too, because once they get into the court, they have these documents. I got some more information here. Check it out. All right, the movement can be traced back to the American far-right groups such as the Posse Comitatus, which is a social movement that began in 1960 to spread conspiracy-minded, anti-government, and anti-Semitic messages linked to white supremacy, aiming to counter what they believe to be an attack on their social and political rights as white Christians. But now it attracts everyone, including blacks. Because some members have engaged in armed confrontations with law enforcement, they are on the FBI's list for organized terrorist groups. So they are technically considered an organized terrorist group by the FBI.
Do these people have birth certificates?
Well, originally, yes, but they claim they don't need a birth certificate. They don't need a driver's license. They don't need an ID card.
Sounds like entitlement is what that sounds like.
It sounds like Trump's gonna be doing some mass deportation on their head.
The sovereign nation.
So if we're actually gonna discuss these individuals, I can kind of see their thought process on this. It's a little extreme to me because, matter of fact, my daughter just did a research paper, persuasive paper on when it's okay to break the law. And so I helped her do some of that research, and one of the things that she brought up was sometimes the laws are harmful to other people. Another one is the laws are kind of unimportant. Like sometimes people just there's a law that you can't wear blue jeans on some specific street in Alabama.
It'd be stupid.
No, that's true.
So
You knew who they was targeting in Alabama with that one. Just saying.
Facts.
Apples, bottom jeans,
I'm just,
boots
so
with the
it's really
fur.
good that this came up because I feel like there's kind of a parallel here that, sometimes the government can be a little too big,
Yeah.
and I don't ever want to take away our constitutional rights like the freedom of speech and stuff like that. But there's also consequences for the choices that they're making, and they have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with those consequences. But once again, I can kind of see where they're coming from when there's sometimes too many laws. Like one person couldn't put a flag in their front yard, like all these ridiculous laws that if the law isn't about safety and security, why do we have it?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I see your point. What's up,
Go
Corey?
ahead, Corey.
I feel that freedom of speech is just part of it. There should be freedom of speech, but fuck around and find out.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. That's it. Because it's like, just let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I get where a community or a group of people could feel like the law does not. I mean, one, that's a good thing, and I think we're going to turn that into a topic. When is it okay to break the law? Because if you're going to jaywalk to save somebody's life, I'm not about to go all the way to the top of the light just to go back there when this person is dying.
Yeah.
Who needed him?
Well, I'll just bring
You know
all
what I'm saying?
my
I get
research
that.
with me.
Bring it. Hey, she's coming back. You coming back
Real.
anyway.
Yeah, but no, that's good. But I think the sovereign citizen, right, Donald?
Got more stuff too.
Yeah. I believe that because of the fact that maybe somebody in the past who organized that, or were one of the top ones that organized it, probably felt like they were done wrong by the government.
I got info on that.
Or you know what I'm saying? You know what? Let me not steal your thunder, Dr. Poole. Go ahead and dive right in.
Cool.
I think I was going into something that you probably already did your hard research, and I don't want to take away nobody.
I was actually going to ask that question. What prompted this explosive organization?
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'll get there. Well, remember, it started back originally. It was started to give
That's
a
cool.
little bit trace back to American rights.
We'll put the captions up.
Oh yeah, okay, here we go. So it dates back to 1960 is when it began, and the dude who started it was I got his name on here somewhere.
It's no coincidence that it's far right either.
Anyways, I'll get to it. I'll find it. I'm gonna go on a little bit more though, because these kits you could buy, like these kits that these people are using. It's a kit that you go online and you purchase from like some people online. Yeah, it contains.
That's
Trying to come up off that merch, man. I ain't knocking the hustle.
Somebody.
It contains all of their it contains all of the paperwork. It contains the paperwork on the wording that you need to use in order, because there's special phrases and terms that these people use in order to get out of these particular situations. So and these kits are what give them the info that they need. It gives them a new ID number where they basically can pick their own name. You don't have to say you're from anywhere and whatnot. So there's the kits that they got out there, and then from Wikipedia, I went on a couple of sites. Wikipedia was one of them, and Sovereign Citizens Movement was also called the SovCit movement. Pretty much, they physically reside in this country, and they are separate from the United States. FBI considers them anti-government, conspiracies. Let's see what else.
I got a question.
Okay, the Oxford Language Dictionary said a member of the political movement of people, members of a political movement of people who oppose taxation, question the legitimacy of government, and believe that they are not subject to the law. The roots of movement are racist and anti-Semitic, but most of them nowadays are not. It was here we go. It was founded by William Potter Gale in 1971.
Hey, Dr. Pooh, you had a question from Bobby.
I'm sorry.
So I have a question. If these people have that mindset, let's say the sovereign citizen movement is a way for rapists to pretend like what they're doing isn't wrong, that they should be, entitled to that. How's the justice system um, like how are they prosecuting true crimes? In their mind, they're like, "Oh, I'm not doing a crime," but they really are.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think they're
in court
running very
cases, in all of the court videos that I've seen,
Especially
in
if
all of
you
the court,
get an ID number and you can change your name. Who's to
yeah,
say that you
yeah,
can
yeah.
commit a crime under this name and then now you just decide to change your name again?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in a lot of the videos that I've seen, and I've spent a lot of time watching these videos, it's very interesting to see these people's reactions. And every time it goes to a court case, it always gets, none of their stuff is cited, is accepted, because one,
Yeah, they're
they always
delusional.
represent themselves, so they don't know how to say what they need to say in order to represent themselves properly. And then two, most of the time it's absurd. Like, I haven't seen any cases with rape per se, but a lot of the cases that I see that are extreme are guns. A lot of the cases are people have a gun in their car, and so every time they've tried to defend themselves, they've always failed. And so I don't
But
see
they
them
getting that
getting any
money.
type of leeway. When I watch the videos of the cops, first the cops explain to them, first the cops explain to them, like, all right, it's state by, in our state, this shit doesn't fly. You can say you don't need a driver's license to drive, but in Florida, like if it's in Florida or Ohio, wherever, they're like, this is the law. And then they talk their mumbo jumbo, and the cop still gives them a ticket, and they still go to court, and then they spit their mumbo jumbo in court. And then the videos I saw were of this Texas judge, and he just kept shooting them down. He's like, that's nice. The dude was talking about how I have the right to travel. And so the judge was like, I understand you have the right to travel, but you can't drive if you don't have a driver's license. So the guy was like, no, I have the right to travel. And the judge was like, yes, you do have the right to travel. You could walk your feet and travel anywhere that you need to go. So, and that's how it is. If you don't got a driver's license,
video
catch the
I'm gonna
bus.
share that he sent me. And it was a Caucasian sovereign citizen. And what was fascinating to me, the cop asked, did she have a weapon on her? She said, yes, it's right here. She reached for her weapon,
Do that.
and she
Can't do that.
survived. Like the cops kept saying, please don't reach for your weapon. Please don't reach for your weapon. He asked multiple times, and finally, and she was real hostile with, I'm a sovereign citizen, and she was like, and I'll take my weapon out and put it. He was like, no, don't take it out.
Hey,
I'll
that's
take
these
it. He said
entitled
he
people
will take
we
it
were
out
talking about earlier.
for her. He took the weapon out of her holster for her. I don't know if that's some of the rights you get being a sovereign citizen, or maybe those are some different.
Probably not.
That's delusional entitlement.
So those type of people, I
That's
like
all I
to
want
say
to say.
this.
She reached for her
I
weapon.
like to say those type of people, they're very passionate about what they believe. Right?
And she was very
and
passionate.
then you also
too.
have the officer who probably do not want to hurt this individual. I have to put myself in this officer's shoes, because if you take a life, you have to realize, one, let's remove the badge and put yourself in the position. A job for an officer is to be able to protect, serve, and then go home. If he takes a life, because of course he has to be able to protect his own, and he probably seemed like this lady is a threat, but she's not a threat enough where I have to kill her. He probably was just trying to reason with her. Plus, he's a man. If it was a male officer, thinking of like, you know what? There's probably other ways that we can be able to. I could probably apprehend her without her having to use deadly force or me using deadly force. I always think about the officer, because sometimes police get a bad rap. But then also in the same passion, this person is very passionate about what she believes. And that person is probably willing to die for the sovereign citizen thing. So that's the reason why they were willing to open up the, like, look, I got my gun right here. I can do this like that. You ain't going to do this, that, and the third. So there's a lot of variables there, because of the fact that in order to be part of something like that, who's pretty much saying, fuck you, government, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, they're very passionate.
Yeah,
they're
they
very
are
strong in what they believe. And they're very to the point where they're willing to die for that cause. However, it's an extreme, and I don't want to call them extremists, but what I will say is there's people that that take it very, very far. Because I remember watching Judas and the Messiah, right? And I saw how Huey Newton moved, right? That man moved like
That's about Fred Hampton, right?
Fred Hampton, my bad, Fred Hampton. I saw how he
Yeah.
moved. He moved very strategically and
Very
very
militant.
passionate and willing to die. He was willing to be partners with the enemy to align with them, so they wouldn't be part of the. I mean, so they can be against the government, so they can be able to build their own, have their own community. So I see that in this sovereign citizen because of the fact, again, passion drives action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I see right there. But in the same breath, especially if you got passion and then you got a group of communities telling you, like, who is it? I'll go over there and shoot them up right now. God, please bleep that out.
That's really
guys,
the biggest breakdown in our society. Is
you feel me? But what I'm saying is, like,
community holding each other accountable.
What's that, Christina? Say that again.
That's like the biggest problem with our society now, is that we don't have community holding each other accountable. We're just all on, you just join a crazy train. Which crazy train do you want to be on? And that's just one of them. There's plenty of other crazy trains that they just hype each other up and the insanity, and it's just breaking us apart.
Yeah.
That's why I just hang out with my kids.
Right.
Well, here's a couple other things.
But yeah, I believe what Donald is saying is truly, truly important, because there may be people looking to join things like this because of the fact of the election that we just had.
There are some other things too. They call themselves
we
other
gotta
things.
get ready to wrap it up, Dr. Poole. Let's start sharing some closing thoughts on that. Actually, I like where you were going with this, Christina. It's and you too, Corey. Elaborate a little bit more on that. Y'all were onto something as far as like people want to be a part of these groups to take us out.
I'll let Christina go.
So we tend to lack community now because
where was that audio at just now? Girl, your audio then kicked up.
Well, because I took my headphones out. That must have been the problem. So now I'm screaming at y'all, right? I told you I'm loud. My headphones died, so that must have been the problem. So we haven't really had community, especially since COVID. COVID has really destroyed our sense of community, but it was already happening before that. So people are just looking for community now. And so as long as they're
now we lost you for real on this one.
We ain't lost her.
We can't hear you. You're saying something so much, and I know you're very passionate, but we can't
she
hear
looked
you.
like it's serious too.
Yeah.
I think she froze up now. Dang it.
Well,
the good thing is she'll be back, because she was. Oh, there we go. We got you back. Maybe. Netflix. She Netflixing.
Can you hear her? Can't hear you.
We can't hear you now.
We see your lips though. We see your lips.
She putting the headphones back in.
She was on it too. Oh. You know what? Well, she's coming back in a couple of weeks anyway. So, but I see what she was saying as far as like us missing that sense of community. I've been seeing that a lot. So I can definitely see how maybe someone who's disenfranchised might gravitate to that, right? We were talking about the disenfranchised last week's episode, right? So where if you give the disenfranchised a voice, you're gonna attract them, right? I understand that. We talked about that in so many different ways, man. But in my opinion, I don't know if that's a good way to go, because like you said, Donald, no one is like seeing any luck in court, right?
No, not at all. None of them have won. And that's I've heard that not only in the American videos I watch, but doing my research, I was watching some Australian videos. Nobody in Australia has ever won either.
Yeah, due process doesn't you can, just because you can, like, they just need you to acknowledge. That's why a lot of times they ask you for your signature or whatever, and you be like, I don't want to sign it. It's like, okay, it's still going, the process is still going to happen. And so that's how legal stuff work in the US. I learned that when I was in the Army, private. I ain't signing that 4856, Bobby. You probably know what I'm talking about.
I was about to tell you, man, I can tell you how many times I did not sign a 4856 because I disagree with it. I said, no,
it was like, okay,
on this. I was that person. I will be
that person. And the NCO is just required to sign it. That basically you're trying to get them to acknowledge that they read it and understand it. The due process is still going to take place. Yeah. So going to court, like, I don't need no driver's license. I don't need no. They're looking at you like, okay, stupid,
Hey,
slam the gavel. Hey, 3 years in prison, stupid, thinking you're gonna get away with this,
You guys go watch. Go watch.
Let's end this on the question. So this has kind of been a recurring theme throughout the all of our episodes, man. Do y'all think that we are just in desperate need of just having a sense of American community? What y'all think?
Yes.
Go around and we'll close out on that. Say that again, Christina.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
said an American community?
An American community. Like, do we need
elaborate on that?
An American community. So you hear me talk about Korea a lot because I spent a lot of time in Korea, right? One thing that I noticed in Korea was their sense of pride to be Korean, right? It didn't matter where you were, where you lived, how poor you were Korean. And even when all of our foreigners came there, were expected to adapt, and it was part of their pride. I've always seen just the overall just lack of sense of community. Is we always preface the American with Black American, white American, Asian American, et cetera, et cetera. Why can't we just all be American?
It's called nationalism. It's called nationalism, and that's a dirty word in America.
Why?
Because Hitler was a nationalist.
But that was a bad version of it, huh? Say what?
From what I understand, from what I've been watching and other things, is Hitler was considered a nationalist, and nobody wants to be Hitler, so nobody wants to be considered a nationalist.
You know, the thing about that, technically he wasn't a national because he wanted to expand outside of Germany and conquer the world.
But that's how they divide us.
Yeah, the media. It's the media.
To want to be proud of being an American and having an American culture.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if we had more of that, you wouldn't need to go be a sovereign citizen. Just be an American citizen, dog. It's good over here.
I miss it.
Dog.
Yeah. History definitely repeats itself. I mean, the most camaraderie I've seen since I was born was 9/11. Like, everybody pulled together when that happened. But that happened when Pearl Harbor. That happens every time something crazy like that happens. Everybody is super emotional.
It always
super
takes
American.
tragedy, unfortunately, to bring people together. The same thing is why people come together at family funerals. Last time you saw last time you see your cousin was at, your aunt's funeral, and you're sitting there wondering where the time has gone.
If you haven't talked to me in a year, don't come to my funeral because my kid will.
Hey, I can tell you another time when it happened, but it was only a group of people.
What's that?
All right, so we had George Floyd, we had Trayvon Martin, we had Rodney King. All the Bloods and the Crips linked, and then we had Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle too,
yeah. So unfortunately, it's still a division of a certain type of American, but they're all Americans, and they set aside one thing. They set aside their beefs to come together. But when they came together with a voice in mind, what they were trying to say. Like the civil unrest that happened throughout George Floyd, throughout even Mike Brown, the young man who got shot in his back, got killed by the kid, Tamar Rice, I believe.
Tamar Rice,
yeah. You feel me? These names I know because of the fact I felt that energy and that passion. I wrote songs about them. Because
Breonna Taylor too. There's a lot. There's so many people,
you know what I'm saying? People will come together out of pain.
Yeah.
And 9/11 was a national pain because we had blacks, whites, browns, Asians, everybody in those Twin Towers working on a normal day. That's why the country came together. However, if it's something inside the country dividing and causing one group of people a pain, you'll see that happen again.
Yeah.
The only thing about it is it still becomes the divided states of America, not the United States.
When were we the closest to our neighbors? That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about being an American with the entire United States. I would just like to have coffee with my next door neighbor.
Oh,
that doesn't happen anymore.
That was COVID.
No, it was before COVID. It was that COVID made it worse, but it was before COVID.
Good point.
COVID made it worse. True indeed, COVID made it worse in some areas. But I'm gonna be honest with you, my neighbors, when I cook for them. When they cook for us. Because
I don't have that where I'm at right now, and I haven't had that in a very long time in my life. And I think it's sad, and I think a lot of people are craving
Yeah.
that type of connection
Mhm.
with people. And then they find these radical groups, and it's happened to at least one of my children that I had to rein them back in, like, hey, what are you doing, crazy? I'm not kidding. I had to be like,
The
You know,
digital
love,
world.
with
Good.
love,
Hey,
I'm
yeah,
being
I
nice
was
to
thinking
you.
that too, Daniel.
The digital world. That goes
Damn.
back to what I was saying. Put
Yeah,
the
it
cell
goes back
phones
to the
down,
digital
get off of Netflix, get off your computer, your iPad, laptop, go outside.
But can I? I'm gonna be an advocate. I'm gonna be an angel advocate for that. The digital world allowed people to be able to come together and find their tribe. Because I'm looking at 6 different people right here on the screen that all had same type of mothers, same type of children situations.
Good point.
And we all are perfect. I mean, I've never met Daniel and
great
I've never
point
met
right there.
Christina until today.
Yeah.
But we all have similarities alike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
sometimes we may not be able to be in close proximity of our people, but we can be able to find our tribe if we just take it outside the realm that we're familiar with.
Unfortunately, this is still a superficial way of connection.
I agree.
It takes away the
but it's
intimacy
better
of the
than
relationship.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than
There
nothing.
you go.
Yeah. It's better than
Because
nothing.
you have to find the good in what you got.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that's the way to end this nice episode. That's pretty cool. I think it keeps coming up, man. We just need to do a better job connecting with each other. We need to be better neighbors.
Yeah.
Christina, damn it.
Like a good neighbor.
I don't want to be a better neighbor to the neighbors I got right now. I don't know where
damn.
these people came from.
You are your brother's keeper, just so you know.
Hey, I am my brother's keeper. But hey, you know what? Christina, thanks for joining us. She will be back again. We already got her on the calendar. Daniel, you are always welcome back. Dr. Poole, thank you for coming as always. And again, Dr. Poole, let them know how to get in touch with you if they're in the right side of LA and they need some help with their pool, man.
It's right here on the screen. Just find me on Facebook or Instagram, Dr. Poole. Hit me up, Facegram. Yeah, the Facegram, the new Facegram.
I love it.
Facegram.
Hey, we about to trademark that.
Facegram.
And then, Daniel, if you want people reaching out to you, how can they get in touch with you, sir?
Man, I would drop my LinkedIn down here. I think I put it in the intake form, but you can only reach me on LinkedIn right now. I got off of social media about 3 years ago. I started building my brand and working on myself, and that gave me a lot of clarity. And now I'm where I wanted to be perfectly. I just graduated 2 weeks ago, my master's too. So I'm
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm in a
Throw some
real
horns
good
on that.
space,
Throw
bro.
some horns for Daniel.
Hey, I need to I don't know what the DJ Clue bomb.
Yeah.
The bomb, when they drop the
on it.
bomb, we gotta get the bomb next time.
I'll have a bomb.
We
But
work
yeah,
on that.
yeah. If you search up Ryan Cooper, maybe put Daniel in or something like that on LinkedIn, you should be able to find me. I'm in a graduation outfit. I went to my commencement about 2 weeks ago. So
And what you get
that's the only way to find me now. Cybersecurity and information assurance.
Hey.
Bomb, man.
Right there. Oh yeah. And then Bobby, let them know what they could get from you if they need something in this area. What do you help with, ma'am?
Yeah, so in the San Antonio area, I'm a owner operator for Patriot Restorations LLC. We are a disabled veteran-owned small business here in the state of Texas. So if you have water leakage, mold problems and stuff, you can hit me up. Find me on Facebook at Bobby Lopez or IG at Bobby.Lopez.5, and we'll help get you squared away, taken care of.
Boom. And then Corey Giovanni.
All right. It's your main man with the game plan, not the game plan, but the game plan. You can find me at
Facegram.
If you're in need of music videos, you're in need of website building, you're in need of merchandise, you're in need of a pop-up store. If you are in need, I am that somebody that everybody know. And if it ain't me, I know the other person who got what you need. So anyway, I'm at all the socials at Corey Giovanni, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I just exited my X. I exited X because I don't want them using my stuff without my permission. Take it away, Gmo.
And I go by the name Tech_Von_Go on all platforms except for TikTok. I don't do TikTok. But if you were in San Antonio, PCS in San Antonio, and you're looking for a nice unit to rent in the Almost Park area, I got 2 of them. Holla at me. We can get you hooked up. We gonna treat you right over there. And other than that, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for the love. That's it. We out.
Before you do that, though, like, comment,
Yes.
subscribe,
Yes.
and share it. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. We out.
Peace.
1, 2.